We're live. Welcome to the party. Oh my goodness. Peyton, I hope you are having a brilliant time of quarantine. Enjoying yourself. Listen, I tell you, there's nothing better to pass the time than this music stuff. It's lovely. And you were doing a tremendous job on this, and I'm glad that you're focusing on this and invested in your violin and music. It's excellent, and you never know. It's like Mr. Arnold always says about having windows open, right? All kinds of opportunities in life. You just never know. Plus, it makes you better than people. Okay, that's been my. I feel a little bit better than people because I play violin. I'm being silly. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm looking right now at some sheet music from your boy Bach, B to the A to the C to the H, Bach. And I want to take a look. I know we started working on Minuet number 2, and I'd like to continue that. Because this is a time to really iron out the kinks with this song, and I think that you can totally do this because I'm looking at some of the notes, some of the movements in Minuet number 1, and they're not far off from Minuet number 2, just more eighth notes. That's Minuet 2, aka you wanted more eighth notes, you got them. We're going to start off and we're going to play a G major scale, and we're going to show you a variation on the G major scale as well, just so you kind of have a way that you can practice it to actually add something new so you don't get bored playing G major. Because if it's not tough, why are we doing it? Then it's baby work. G major scale played like this. Fourth finger. So just playing, I would pause the video, I would play G major scale, focusing on just the most rock and roll bow style you can possibly have, really focusing on that gentleness, which your bow has been really excellent here lately. Not pushing down on it, but controlling it. Even tone. When you're here, when your frog is very close to the string, all that weight of your hand is on the violin and on the string. You don't have to push down hardly at all. You're just guiding. Slowly applying more pressure with your index finger and thumb as you get further out to ensure that the tone remains consistent the entire way through. So, long story short, pause the video. I want you to work on G major scale with fourth fingers until you have a semi-handle on it. Paused. And we're back. Okay. We're looking at Minuet number 1 as a warm-up. And you're sounding really lovely on this. And I want to work on Minuet 1 just quickly as a warm-up and make some observations about certain parts in it that you might be able to work on as you're going, okay? 1, 2, 3. I know there was a repeat. I'm not playing it because you know what to do. A couple things about the song that you can really work on your technique with. One, you see that in measure, the first time we see this in measure 6. Measure 6, second line, second measure. We see that you play a fourth finger, which actually applies to that scale you just played. It sounds so nice that way. The reason you're playing a fourth finger is because if you play open E, you got to go back into. So why not just play fourth finger? You're already on the A string then and go back into it. You see that again. Line 3. You see it a final time, line 5. Really, really good to start getting familiar with it because it's going to force your fingers to strengthen. By using more fourth finger, you're going to get stronger fingers. You'll be like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of left hands, okay? It's going to be awesome. There's a couple things too. When you're coming into the second part of the song, really kind of, I want to hear that note. It's like it's blooming, right? It's like you're waking up. You're waking up from slumber. That part. Looking at line 4. You're playing that sharp second finger, right, on the A string, which you know that in the key of G major, it should be here, right? Your C should be there because we're playing a G major scale. Oops, wrong scale. I put a D. Here's G major. Both of those first and second fingers on the A and E are both really close together, but in that line number 4, it's marked as a sharp, and it's important because it helps the next two measures really give them direction. So you're playing that far apart, right, from the first and the second. You're going. Now here's the tricky part that I think a lot of students mess up on. Let me see if I can get this is a good angle or not. Okay. Yes, looks good. Okay, here we go. This part. Do you see what just happened there? That second finger on the third measure of line 4, it's marked as natural, right? It's marked as a natural. And so when you see that, it's telling us to stop playing the second fingers, the C's, as sharp and go back to normal. You see that? It's tricky, right? Okay. Enough of minuet 1. Focus on those things, the transitions between the sharp C and natural C, and the bow work. This is very a bow central kind of song. Okay. Moving on to minuet number 2. You can pause this and take a breather, keep on working on that. The point of that is to help you focus on parts of minuet 1 that make it sound the way it should sound, right? And part of that's bowing, and part of that is making sure that you have the exact right intonation on all notes, especially when marked sharp and natural, because that's a pretty big deal. Let's take a look at minuet numero dos, affectionately called more eighth notes. Too fast, too furious. Minuet 2, J.S. Bach. So this one, we need to figure out, first of all, still in the key of G. You can play these back to back. It sounds beautiful when you do. But minuet 2, what makes this difficult? Let's play. I'm going to play through the first part of the song. Ready? Okay. Peyton, I'm back. Had to reset the video because ran out of batteries. Okay, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry. So we're looking at minuet number 2, and the last thing I said was I'm gonna play it so we can ultimately, you and I together can figure out what is gonna make this song difficult. I'll play it at a pretty slow pace. You ready? repeats. That's a cute part, isn't it? That's beautiful. Okay. But what makes this song difficult, and the long story short, is the range of bowing, right? Because these are all notes. Look at the first measure of the song. Third finger D, first finger, third finger A, second finger E, open A, first finger E. That's not difficult. You just play this by themselves. They're not, complex notes per se. It's like you're having to be in the 15th position or something. But what makes them difficult is, one, the tempo they're played, and two, you have to do a lot of, your bow control has to be on point, man. It really does. Because look. It's a lot of rocking back and forth. So what can we do to make this, what can we do to make this easier? Getting it real loose, but also be very calculated. I would start like this. If I was wanting to nail that, look how many times that thing's repeated. I'm looking at the sheet music one here, by the way. Look how many times. That phrase is repeated 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times, no, 5, 6. 6 times throughout the entire song. If you factor in the repeats, that's 12 times that measure is played. I mean, dude, that's crazy. So we want to be able to play. I would start doing it really simple. Get that down, you know what I mean? And just practice the bejesus out of that, okay? Because you want to get that really locked in so you can play. Now the next thing you're going to notice, it's not going to be difficult. Measure 2, same as those Bach up bows. And you see that you got to be aware. You see it's marked at the bottom of the quarter notes there. We see that again in the third line. Now the second line of Minuet 2 is easy. E 2 3 3 3 2 2 3 2 1 2 open A. So I really think you could totally get that nailed, hammered out the first 2 lines of the song, because if you break down those 8th note measures, you get to start slow. You have to learn to play it slow before you can play it fast. Play the first line like this. That'll help you get the control you need to play that successfully. And then coming into that second line going, really that just like lullaby kind of sound. So that's what I would do. I would get this measures with all the 8th notes, measures 1 and 3. Hammer that out and do it slowly. And then do it 5, 10 times. And then you'll start to see progress because of the repetition. You know what I mean? Styles made by repetition. Listen, you're doing a fabulous job. Really get that minuet number 1 just sounding pristine, and make sure that you really put in some time to get minuet number 2 hammered out. The way you're going to do that, like I said, play it slowly, very controlled bowing. Loosen up your arm, but be very controlled, and you'll have it. You just got to start slow. Good luck to you.